That's right. Today we're going to take a look at Luke Skywalker's Legacy Lightsaber from Galaxy's Edge, the one he has in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. So sit back, relax, take a load off. Hope you enjoy this episode of Saber Sundays. That's right, folks. It is episode 3 of Saber Sundays. Now, today's episode, we are going to look at the Return of the Jedi version of Luke Skywalker's saber. Now, there are a number of things about this saber that I like. There's also some things that I don't like. And we're going to get into all of those today as we talk about this. So let's go ahead and change over so I can give you guys a look here. For anybody that hasn't seen yet, this is the case that the Luke Legacy Saber comes in. It's got the green Jedi logo on the front, and inside is the saber itself. Now, one of the things you'll notice is this is a narrow neck saber, just like it is in the movie. However, the end, there's nowhere to put the blade. This particular saber comes with a really fat, ugly adapter. I don't really care for it. I've only used this adapter a handful of times just to kind of check it out and see how the saber works and all that kind of stuff. And that's about it. The rest of the time, it actually sits inside the case, underneath the black matting here. You actually pull this whole tray out, and there's a spot inside that the adapter sits in. So, that, again, like I said, is one of the things that I don't like about this saber. The other thing that really irks me, and I'm trying to find somewhere where there might be a video that somebody has put up of taking one of these apart, and that is to fix the colored arrows. For some stupid reason that nobody really knows, Disney, or whoever Disney had make this, actually went in and put the colored arrows backwards. Now, I know it's really hard to see because of lighting, but you got red and green. Well, the problem is with the switch, you push it forward to turn it on, which would be the red side, which should indicate it's off. And then you pull it back to turn it off, which is the green arrow. So Disney really, whoever they had do this, screwed up. And they've all been this way. I know it's been a complaint that a lot of people that I've seen other videos about this saber have said, which, like I said, if I can find a video online somewhere, and if you guys have seen it anywhere on YouTube or another site or something like that, please leave me a comment down below with a link if you can, because I would love to be able to go in and possibly take this apart and flop those arrows back the way they should be, so that the saber itself is more movie accurate than what this particular saber is. Now, this is the saber that Luke crafts after losing his hand in Empire Strikes Back to Vader. We all know that's when he loses his original, as we always refer to it right here. Oops, there we go. The Anakin saber that he ends up getting from Obi-Wan in A New Hope, that he has through A New Hope up till the battle with Darth Vader in Sky City, where Vader basically removes his hand. He crafts this one afterwards. Now, the one thing I will say about this saber is this saber itself is very sturdy. It's nice. It's a solid aluminum. It's got some weight to it. It's nowhere near as light as the Obi-Wan saber was. It's a little bit heavier in what I would refer to as the display stage, to where you have the short, narrow neck saber, for display. This particular adapter. This version of it actually weighs, let me look at my notes here just to make sure I get it right this time, because I know anybody who watched my last video saw I got some of the numbers wrong. So I've got some data for myself that I put down. This particular one in the display mode is 15.6 ounces. That's how much this one weighs. Now, all these weights are all going to be without batteries. When you add the batteries into it, it's going to add a little bit more weight, but that's what I would call dry weight. That's the dry weight of this saber. No batteries in it, just the saber itself. Now, if you add the saber blade emitter side or the adapter to it, it actually takes the weight up to 1 pound and 0.5 ounces. So it does weigh a little bit more with this particular adapter. Unlike the Leia, which is honestly the only other one that has the adapter in it, and we'll go over that one at a later date. That's actually the one sitting right here that we'll look at whenever we do the box set itself. That one, ironically enough, weighs less with the adapter than it does with the display model, which is ironic. So let's look a little bit deeper in this before we put the display adapter on there. Like I said, it's a nice solid hilt. It's got some decent weight to it. It feels fairly balanced. I mean, it's not completely because of positioning wise, but I mean, if you get it, as you can see, right around that point where you're by the switch, it kind of balances a little bit. You actually kind of have to go a little bit behind it, more about right there, to kind of get an actual balance on it. So it's still a little off balance. I think and we'll do the same little, and I know this is just a generic test to do it because I don't have any way of actually balancing it at the moment. We'll see what the difference is as far as balancing out goes with the blade emitter on there. But I mean, all honesty, it's not that bad. I mean, you've got your, what is technically looks like the on and off switch that a lot of custom crafters use instead of the side switch on many of them, which is the board here. This is, pretty much just plastic, painted plastic, so there's nothing solid to it or anything like that compared to a lot of your custom sabers. You've got your switch on the side. It does have a nice sturdy D-ring. The one thing I don't like is when you put the pummel cap on, and as you can see, I've got it tightened down where it goes. Your D-ring kind of sits right by the switch area. I will say I haven't really compared movie accuracy to it, but for me, I would prefer this to be around on the opposite side, so the D-ring to be on the back side. So when you clip it, it's kind of hanging more on this side than over here. But this may be more movie accurate. I'll have to go back and look at that again just to verify. But me personally, I'd rather when it's hanging on the D-ring, not have this here. Now I can understand, it may make it easier when you plop it off the clip, for instance, that you've got it right there, which would make sense as to why the switch would be there. And that's just, personal preference, with it being out of the way. But, in holding it there when you got the D-ring, I can understand, because then that way your thumb is literally right there at the switch. So I guess it does make sense. But, the other thing that I don't really like about the display version of it is, you know, it doesn't really have anything as far as detail on the emitter port, you know, on this particular display unit. I think they could have done a lot better with adding more of the actual design here to make it look more movie accurate or realistic, than just this flat aluminum piece, as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and we'll take the display emitter off, and it's, I mean, completely hollow. There's nothing on the inside of that, which would make sense because of the fact that you know, honestly, there's no reason to have anything in there. Your electronics with your pins are all in this adapter. Now, it does have almost like a NeoPixel style connection plate there that the pins connect to. So, you know, I would have expected it to be a little bit better on that aspect there of electronics, but I mean, this was one of the first ones they made. So when you put the adapter on, I mean, you can see just how much larger it makes it look. It's not realistic. It doesn't look movie accurate that way, and I think that's one of the honestly the downfalls that Disney had with this particular version of this saber, is having that thick neck like that. There's so many custom sabers out there that when you get it, you know, they have this style which still has the narrow neck on it, and you have the emitter in. But of course, we're talking NeoPixel. You know, we're talking a NeoPixel blade, or some of them are LED lit inside the emitter, you know, that are hollow blades for dueling and things like that, for actual combat. You know, so they keep the narrow neck on there, and they just have set screws, which, I mean, honestly, this thing looks like it has a set screw point in there. I don't know if you guys can really see or not, but it's actually got a hole there like there's supposed to be a set screw on it, but there's not. You know, it does have the little dust cap that, of course, all of them have at this point. But, you know, and it's because of the whole large... and I'll show you with a regular blade so you can see it better, because the Jaymoo just doesn't have the black on the end. But it's because of this large end that they've put on the blades that make it to where they had to use that big huge gooseneck in on here that's just massive. You know, they tried to make it look a little bit more like it, because I mean, it does have that same, let me turn it there, you can see that the set screw hole that is honestly pointless when you think about it. But when you put the blade in, you know, it's just because of that large size that they had to go with the this big neck on here. So go ahead and lock this in. Gives you a little sound on it, and then you get your blade color. I mean, you've got the default green on there, which is good. It's got some decent sound quality to it. It's not very sensitive as far as for movement, so you're not going to have, you know, smooth swing by any means. I have heard recently that they may be adding smooth swing in some of the new ones, so we may be getting some updated electronics in newer models. I guess we shall see. You know, Cal Kestis is supposed to be coming out here soon, so I'm hoping that if they've done it, they've put it in Cal Kestis. I know. Let me turn this off with sound. I know that with the Dark Saber back here, it does seem to be more sensitive to movement than your original model sabers that they came out with at Galaxy's Edge. So, you know, unfortunately, like I said, you know, if you're going to display this with the blade, you're going to have the big ugly neck on there. And it's because of that, honestly, is part of the reason why I don't display mine with the blades on them. Just because, honestly, with this particular saber itself, and the Leia, you know, I really don't like this big ugly adapter that they made, you know, to go on these. I would prefer had they made it to where it's, you know, the narrow neck like it's supposed to be. It's I think it takes away from the authenticness of it. Honestly, it doesn't look as good. That's why I'm actually considering. I mean, I'm not going to get rid of any of my Legacy Sabers by any means, because I mean, at this point, I'm literally one Ventress away from a complete set, and then, you know, waiting on Cal Kestis to come out. I've pretty much managed to collect all the rest of them. So, you know, I'm not going to get rid of it by any means, because I want to be able to keep my collection complete. I want to keep it complete, you know, as Palpatine would say. But I'm definitely looking at the possibility of getting other custom sabers, just for that reason, you know, with NeoPixel. Possibly even building one my own. I think this would be a great first build to do my own custom saber of, you know, and do it with NeoPixel, Profi board, and things of that nature. So I definitely am looking at doing that. If anybody has any information on where I can pick some of that stuff up to get some of the hilt parts, the boards and stuff, I greatly appreciate, you know, drop a comment, let me know where, you know, if you've built some yourself, where did you get the parts from? You know, did you find them on Amazon? Did you have to go to special builder sites, you know, things of that nature? Because I'm really interested in trying to start building my own. I've done a lot of electronic stuff in the past, and soldering and all that kind of things from past jobs I've had, so I would love to be able to do that. So if you do have any information, I'd love to see it. I'd love to do it, to get a look at those, and I appreciate you if you do. But that is basically the Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi Legacy Lightsaber. Price on these now, let me double check, because I know that the prices on these just recently went up. And it's not on that. I want to say these have actually gone up to somewhere around, let's see, looking for my database, my lightsaber database. It's on my website. I have to pull it up on there. If you're looking for that information, it's on my website, or on my Facebook page, I should say. I have a Google Doc links on there for you that you can go in there and look at. So, Legacy Lightsabers, Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker is now retailing for $159 plus tax. If you're in Florida, you're looking at $170.39 roughly. If you're in California, you're going to be upwards about $172.50, $172.40, somewhere in that range, depending on how tax looks out there. If you're looking for a scavenger to pick one of these up for you, I believe these are back in stock. You can look at picking those up for right at about $200, depending on shipping costs and things like that will dictate on what the final price is. But estimations for scavenger fees, roughly at about 15%, are going to put it about $195 to $198 before shipping. So if you're finding it for better than that, it's a good deal. I will say look for those. So with that, we'll go ahead and close out this episode. I appreciate you guys joining us. And if there's anything else you guys would like to see me, you know, do with these as far as the reviews go, please leave me a comment. Let me know down below. Hit that like and subscribe button to help out the channel. I do appreciate it. If you're on Facebook, give me a good follow on there. You know, hit that notification bell as well, so that way you know whenever I upload new videos. Saber Sunday videos are coming out every Sunday. That's the plan going forward, unless something happens. That every Sunday until I get through all the Legacy lightsabers, and I have 2 other brand sabers that I'm going to do somewhere in the middle of those. You see a Palpatine up here, right here behind me. I've got my, probably won't do the Master Replica. I may because that's actually above me, but I did that one during my Anakin / Rey / Luke Legacy Saber, back here. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Give me comments, on what you think I could do better on these videos. And let's talk about it. I greatly appreciate it, and I'd love to see, what you guys put up there for me. So until next time, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting the channel. And as always, may the Force be with you.